starts up. Let's go back to exit. Puff info. So this is where you can set your puff. So if you want the device to stop allowing you to take a puff after a certain amount, this is where you'd set it. Reset puff. Okay, this is where you can reset that counter. So if we press reset puff, now it goes back to 0. Now you can obviously change this, make it up to 20 if you want, and it'll start at 20. And total puff. So I have taken 5,104 on this since I got it. And then exit again. And device atomizer. Okay, this is where we can test our atomizer. So we're using a 2.6 ohm head right now. Temperature. It tells us our current temperature is about 28. Alarm. We have our alarm set to 36. Now we can change this if we want, so this is a nice thing as well. Usually 36 is pretty good. Exit. User info. You can see that we have whacked out ECIG right now. I'm Mr., my age. Okay, it gives you all that information. And you have to actually define that information using the MVR software. Series number. This is where it actually gives you your serial number. So this is where you can come in and take your serial number, and if maybe there's a recall on the Evics, which there is right now, they'll say, okay, any serial numbers between this and this are affected. So that is a point of the serial number. Version, we're running version 1.1, and we'll exit out altogether. So that is a that's pretty much everything that the actual main menu does there. I don't think I'm missing anything, except for the fact, one of the new improvement was you can see if we're at 4.8 watts and we want to go up to 11, because the device now with the new update, it only goes between, I believe it was 3, let's see, yeah, 3, it only goes to 3 and 11, so it doesn't go up to 15 anymore. It used to be able to go up to 15, but it wasn't actually a true 15 watts. So they scaled it back, so they most you can go is 11 now. So you can see how much a pain it is. If you're at 3.6 and you're going up by increments of 0.1, if you twist this 3 times fast, there you go. You can see that it automatically goes up for you. Okay. Now you saw that it took me about 3 times, and I was doing it pretty much dead on 3. So we're at 9.6. I've never gone up this high, so it's showing 9.6. I was under the assumption that it would go up a lot further. Now I don't know if this is because I've only at about 46 battery life remaining. It probably is, so I'll have to update the thread on that. So that's pretty interesting. And that is basically it. So that is kind of a in-depth demo on the actual GUI screen here. So you guys can see that there is a lot involved on that screen. I think they did a well job in the way they revised it with version 1.1, and that just shows you the overall power of how these firmware updates and patches are really going to affect PVs in the future, and I think the whole industry. It's a great way to integrate technology into a personal device like this, and I think you'll see a lot more coming out in the future. If they don't have that functionality, I think they're really going to be losing out on sales. I personally think Joyetech is going to be releasing a lot more with this. If you look in their MVR software, they actually specify a product name, and then it says Evic. And I think that overall software was going to be released for a line of devices, and this one being the first. So that same MVR software is going to be used with all the devices in the future, and they're going to be making a lot of improvements over the next couple months. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I want to show you Joyetech's website. I want to show you the recent recall that they had and the recent updates of the 1.1, as where you can download the MVR and stuff. So let's take a look at that. So we're on Joyetech's website right now, so joyetech.com. You can see that they're heavily marketing the Evic, and basically right here it says upgrade program version 1.1 new release. So if we choose that guy here, basically it just gives all the information about the release, but if we choose this link right here, it'll actually give you all of these options. Now there is an option to reset your Evic back to factory settings, just like any other device. So that's pretty interesting to see. So if we choose version 1.1, this is where it'll release all of the information about what new features or what they changed. So the real VW adjustment feature was being able to choose between that variable voltage and variable wattage that I showed you. Atomizer real-time detection. So basically, if you swap out VV Novas, it'll adjust the actual output for you. Wattage arrange modification. So this is where it says, well, we can't reach up to 15 watts, so we've modified it to 11 watts, and the range will change depending on the resistance. When you use a 2.1, the range will be 4.2 to 11. Okay, so it'll actually change using depending on what atomizer or what head you're using there. So that's a really good change. Fast voltage wattage adjustment. So remember when I turned the toggle dial 3 times and then it just went up by itself. That was that change that they incorporated. They didn't have that before. And warning temperature adjustment. We add sub option current alab temp alarm. You can adjust the warning level to the side. So I think they just changed the way it displayed. So you'll definitely see this in the future, and they'll be making a lot more updates for it based on various people giving them information. Right at the top here, you can see Evic 2.0 will be released later, and they give kind of some of the options. Now if we go to the MVR software, you can see that this is where you can see the changes again. This is where you can download it, okay? So that this is basically where you're going to download it. I'm not going to actually test the MVR software because it's very basic. If anybody has any special requests, what they want to see, I might do it at that time, but it basically just collects information from your Evic and pulls it to your computer, or you can send information from your computer to your Evic, like the name, for instance. And that's one of the only options that you'd really use it for, to be honest. That you need the MVR software to actually upgrade your Evic. So use it. If you get an Evic version 1.0 and to upgrade it to 1.1, you will need that. So on Joyetech's main website here, this is where you can find all the pertinent information, including the information on the recent recall for the Evic. So if we just go to the news, click on that, and then right at the top there we can see Evic control head recall notice. So if we click on that, it'll actually give you all the information about the recent recall that the Evic had. And basically what the recall entailed was they had a problem with the fire button. So there was actually a delay with the Evic firing after you press the fire button. So they issued a recall for that. And you can see that the manufacturer day on the actual Evics and the serial numbers that basically were the cause of that recall. So by checking the serial number on yours, you'll be able to know if yours was one of them. So that basically is an overview of Joyetech's website and the MVR software, the 1.1 upgrades that they did, as well as the head recall notice here. All right, guys. So we've talked about the Evic. We've showed you talked about the MVR software a bit. We showed you the GUI menu. So in closing, I just want to let you guys know this has been a great PV for me. It's really what I expected. There's a few downfalls to it, but a lot of those issues I originally have were addressed in version 1.1, the newest update there. The little battery flap, or the charging flap right there, you can see. I think I can show you. Yeah, right there. You probably can't see it too well because I turned the zoom off. But it is a bugger to get out. That's the biggest thing. I always need like a little paper clip to get it because I don't have nails. That it's an annoyance, but it doesn't bug me that much for the one time you do it every 2 days. The battery life lasts me great. I get a full 2 days out of this thing, which I would have expected. The output values are 2 watts to 11 watts, and voltage it's 3 to 5 volts. So that's what you can set it as. It is a 2600 mAh battery, so that's where you get the full 2 days out of that for me. It does have a lot of protection to it, including the battery protection, overheat protection, so it doesn't get too hot. Which you can set that yourself as well, so a little warning comes up. Short circuit protection, especially if you're rebuilding a lot of your own heads there. Low voltage protection, and the battery inversion, so you don't stick the battery the wrong way. So again, overall, been a great device for me. I really recommend it, and I think it's going to get better. I'm really going to be interested in all the features that the Evic 2.0 software brings as well. So in closing, thank you Jason from Van City Vapor for sending me one of these, as well giving me a spare to give away on the forum. If you guys aren't registered, by all means come and join us. It is a Canadian forum dedicated to Canadians. We got lots of great vendors on there, prizes all the time. So thanks again, and good luck, guys.
Thank you.